Stephen, the European Union, the world is changing rapidly at the moment. There's been speculation that the European Union might break up. Other people are saying it will stay together because it's, as we both, I think, heard the Prime Minister of New Zealand say, it's a marriage of convenience rather than economics. It's a matter of political convenience.
The EU will endure, and I think the New Zealand Prime Minister is right to the extent that for some it's a marriage of convenience, but for a number of other countries in Europe equally, they see the economic fundamentals as being absolutely critical to their future. And other countries, having learned from history, understand that the alternative to the EU is a return to a period of tension and instability. And the Franco-German partnership has worked well. It's now expanded to include most of the continent. It'll continue to expand over time, and I think the institutions will emerge the stronger, particularly, Richard, in the banking and financial area.
So the United States of Europe will stay together. The United States of America has got to face up to the elephant in the room, as I've heard you describe it, the deficit. Is that challenge soluble and in a way that maintains social order and a decent standard?
Over time, it is. Bear in mind that during the Clinton administration, budgets could be balanced. Indeed, a budget in '99 was signed into surplus. So this is possible. Given resolve in politics, virtually anything can be achieved. It has to be addressed on the revenue side in terms of the Congress addressing the issue of taxes. It has to be addressed on the entitlement side, and both sides of politics are going to need to reach an accommodation on this that's in the national interest firstly and the global interest overall. Excuse me a moment.
Sure.
Sorry.
So then coming to the rapidly growing economies, looking at China, I heard the head of HSBC down here speak recently saying that they were forecasting a drop in China's growth rate in GDP from 7.9 to 7.5. And it occurred to me that a wag might say they can make up the figures and control production, and so they can make the number anything they want it to be. But are you still seeing strong growth amongst the BRIC?
Still strong growth, and it's true that Chinese economic growth has tapered off somewhat, but if it's in that range of 7 to 8%, that's very healthy. Very healthy for China and the region, very healthy for the global economy. But we're seeing an extraordinary shift in wealth too, Richard, to East Asia. And our region, my friend Warwick Smith likes to call it the Asian vertical, and he's absolutely right from our perspective. We've always been the subject of the tyranny of distance in our European history. But the PM, Prime Minister Gillard, is now talking about the opportunity in closeness, in proximity, and I think that's absolutely right. We are close to very vibrant, growing economies in China, and Indonesia, and the rest of ASEAN, in India, and of course our friends in Japan and Korea have had some difficulties, but they remain very, very strong, developed economies. So, in this part of the world, our trade with Asian countries is very important. Our investment pattern is very important, and our political linkages, I think, will emerge the stronger. An example of that was the Prime Minister's recent visit to India.
So then, thinking about the impact on the public sector in Australia, I remember nearly 20 years ago, Paul Keating was talking about the future and our connectedness with China, but at the time I found it really hard to sort of imagine what that really meant. Now I see, and in fact I have a friend in Sydney who's finding homes in Sydney for Chinese people to invest, and established businesses that want to expand internationally that need more capital because they're looking for a safe place to invest their wealth.
And Australia is regarded as a safe hub for investment. There's no question about that. And the Australian dollar is very strong. Our banking system is in a very good order and is well regulated. All of these issues come into play. But just imagine the issues that confronted Gough Whitlam in 1971 when he went to China. I mean, that was really visionary leadership, as displayed by Prime Ministers Hawke and Keating, with the creation of APEC and the liberalisation of the Australian economy. And full marks for John Howard in the way that he maintained a relationship with Indonesia despite some of the tensions, say, over East Timor. One of the elements that emerged in the Asian Century White Paper, though, was the astonishing range of linkages that currently exist between different parts of Asia and Australia and Australians. Not only where we'd expect them in terms of investment, the university sector and the like, but between individual Australians and communities and counterparts in different parts of the region. So what we're looking at is a change in our political culture over time to become more deeply embedded in our region, which is very much our future, to take advantage of extraordinary good fortune in our geography. As I say, from the tyranny of distance to the proximity of opportunity, it's quite a change.
From the tyranny of distance to the proximity of opportunity. What a wonderful philosophy to take.
I think it'll work. I think it'll work.
Stephen, thank you very much for your time.
Absolute pleasure. Richard.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us, which were very challenging and thought-provoking for us all here today. It's been a great pleasure to spend this time with you. Thank you.
And for me, it's been good to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you.